This is Out the Blue 40 coming at you with melanated sports media, um, giving you another media outlet. Just to get this thing started, I want to get into, are the Thunder still contenders? Um, well, a few things I'm going to run over tonight. Is Paul George ready to dethrone the king? Is he ready to take over the East? How far can the Knicks go? This year's sleepers, and of course, don't forget the Spurs. Um, so to start this segment out, I'm gonna go ahead and get into the Oklahoma City Thunder. Um, First of all, I truly believe that um, we are definite contenders. Uh, we were up 3-1 last year on the Golden State Warriors. I believe that had everything to do with the play of Adams, Cannon, though we're going to miss Ibaka, and also Waiters. I think they stepped up significantly. They was the reason why we was able to get over the hump of the Spurs. The ball movement that we was able to play with, getting the ball from one side of the floor to the other. The offense moved pretty fluidly. And then, of course, you seen what happened. We reverted back to hero ball, and then we lost it. So I believe, honestly, if we play through our big man, I think we can beat anybody, honestly. I think Adams, Canner, now we got Ilyasova stretching the floor. And as an offensive rebounder, people sleep on his offensive rebounding ability. Um, I think we still are able to punish teams down low. I think we got a little bit more shooting, consistent shoot outside. Um, I'm looking forward to checking out Alex Abrines or Alex Abrinas, I believe it is, from Barcelona, shooting 60% from the 3 point. I know it's just preseason, but I was just looking for it to see if the team could develop good habits, different things like that. I like the confidence that he's shooting with. Of course, I don't see him shooting 60% in the regular season, but I can see him, man, hitting. The high 40s, man. This dude can shoot. He don't need any space. If you leave him open, you might as well go ahead and sit on the bench. I can't wait to see him. I'm excited about him. Um, a little lightweight, 6'6", 190, but what I really like about him defensively, man, he kind of remind me of Ginobili. I think he's going to do a lot of screen slipping, which I think will help out Cannon a lot, man, because we don't want Cannon switching off onto Stephen Curry and Damian Lillard. We need guards that are going to fight through the pick and roll and stick with their man. Um, so I look forward to the game that he has. Not probably a better shooter than Ginobili, but probably not as good as a finisher. But we'll see. Like I said, man, I like this game. He looked real confident and ready for the NBA. So I'm excited. Kyle Singler, man, he showed me something this preseason. Looked like he might have got his shot back, his confidence back. 57% from the three this preseason. I'm looking for him to be at about the low 40s, mid 40 range, somewhere in between that. It looks like he put on about 10, 15 pounds, man. So hopefully that should help him defensively. I like to see him moving his feet a lot better, keeping his hands where the refs can see him. But we gonna need big things out of Kyle Singler this year, especially with his size. I think that would help us at that wing position. Missing Durant, we're gonna have to do it collectively, of course, man. When you lose a player like Durant, there is no one player that's gonna make up for that. But we still have Westbrook, and I think the three position we can do it by committee, between Roberson, Anthony Morrow, Josh Hughes, Kyle Singler. I like that. I like those guys. I'm expecting big things, so we'll see what we able to do. Ilyasova, as I mentioned earlier, he's looking already in mid-season form. 47% from the three, about 6 rebounds a game. Of course, with limited minutes in the preseason, I look for him to have even better numbers, honestly. Maybe not with just the three, but as far as the rebounding, I could see him at about 8 rebounds a game. contributing, helping out Adams and Canner in that trio. I look for Sabonis to get some minutes too, good quality minutes. I like to see him coming off of the bench, learning to behind the big fellas. Um, I think his feel for the game and passing, his passing touch, man, is real beautiful. Reminds me a lot of his pops. Probably a better shooter. And he looks confident, man. That's one of the main things I'm looking for too, man. Is confident players, because we're going to be in the playoffs and we got to have guys ready to make big shots. Uh, Anthony Morrow, he looks to be back, man. After a down season last year, 50% this preseason from the three. I could see him about 47, 46, 47% this year. I think he'll get a significant minutes increase. I think we'll have to, man. We're gonna need a lot of shooting out on the floor. What I would like to see, man, is if either him or Singler or Houston can lock down that starting small forward spot for us, and that way we can bring Roberson in to help off the bench as far as defense. I think he could pick up for some of the slack that's created by Canner. As far as him, being slow-footed in the pick and roll game and stuff like that, I think having Robertson out there with him coming off the bench, I think that'll help out a lot. Because we gotta have shooting around Oladipo and Westbrook at all times. Besides Adams, it needs to be nothing but shooters around Oladipo and Westbrook. I'm really I want to see what we do with the lineup. How do we interchange the big fellas? What are we going to do with that three spot? I think between, of course, Alex Abrinas and Victor Oladipo, I think that two guard is solidified. As far as the backup point guard, I'm looking. I really hadn't been impressed with Cameron Payne over the summer league. I was looking for him to take a big step this summer league and be one of the more dominant players like Reggie Jackson had been and Waiters and them in the past. I didn't really see it. He looked pretty average to me. His confidence kind of went down last year as we got closer to the playoffs. I think we was blessed to have Randy Foy coming off of the bench, providing that veteran leadership. Ready to knock down big shots. He helped us out a lot. We really gonna miss him. I like this guy though. We got Samaj Christie. I've been watching him. Hard-nosed defense. Good finisher around the rim. He looks like he's a confident shooter. Not sure how good, but he looks confident. I think he's ready, NBA ready. From what I see defensively, I was impressed with his defense. Picking up full court, kind of reminded me of a Norris Cole a little bit, which I think is very helpful. We need somebody to come off the bench and impact that defense, especially with the trio that we have with Westbrook, Oladipo, unless we can get a shooter or something. But as far as that, man, I really like Samaj. I think he can solidify that backup point guard. I was impressed with, like I said, man, with his defense, half and full court. I was impressed with him, man, in the open court. Also, offensively, look to be ready to finish through contact. He has an NBA-rated body, so I look to see some. Hopefully, he can make the team, man, and be our take over that backup point guard position. So to answer any questions about as far as Oklahoma City challenging the the Golden State Warriors, I believe that besides the Spurs, I believe we have probably the best chance in the NBA. Like I said, man, we weren't up 3-1 because of the great play of Durant and Westbrook. We was up 3-1 because of the great team play. The way that they couldn't nobody stop Adams, couldn't nobody stop Cannon. It's hard to keep a Ibaka off of the backboard. So like I said, man, as long as we play as a team and play through our big man a lot, which I look to I look to see them being used a lot more this year. I think a lot of people will be impressed and also surprised by the way we compete this year. Moving on to the Pacers, the Indiana Pacers, and it's Paul George actually ready to dethrone the king. And to be honest with you, I believe the Pacers have a super team. One of the few super teams I think in the NBA. I think this is one of them. Honestly, um, I know the names may not jump out, but to me, Jeff Teague is a, is a baller. Um, Especially with his speed, quickness, and finishing ability. I think he has a lot of heart. I think he'll be there, show up for a quarter, be ready to hit big shots. He can hit the three. Um, Daddy is young, man. Oh man, I think that's an excellent pickup. Him playing next to a Al Jefferson and a Miles Turner, I think he's gonna complement them well, especially with him being able to stretch the floor a little bit. Hard nosed rebounder, excellent finisher on the inside, real workhorse, excellent defender also. Um, so I like what they did on both sides of the ball as far as picking up some nice two-way players. Um, Big Al coming off of the bench, Al Jefferson. I think the veteran leadership of him coming off of the bench, providing consistent low post scoring. I think that's enough to get him over the hump. With the shooting of an Aaron Brooks backing up a Jeff Teague, I think that's dangerous. Another longtime NBA veteran. We've seen him hit big shots plenty of times. So I think Aaron Brooks will impress. Like I said, man, the combination of all of these guys, man, I think is going to take a lot of pressure off of Monte Ellis. I think we'll see Monte Ellis' game, him have one of his better seasons, probably a better season we've seen in a few years, scoring as well as distributing. Um, I look also for him to have fresh legs coming into the playoffs, man. Like I said, a lot of pickups. They got some young cats coming off of the bench. Glenn Robinson III, of course. I think he has a lot of heart, man. He has that big dog mentality. I'm expecting to see him take the next step this year in the right direction. Also, I believe it is James Young coming off of the bench. Quick point guard. I think he'll be able to be tougher and to get minutes, but I think he'll help defensively. I think we'll see him out there. One of the things, though, I do think will hurt them, man, is the loss of Solomon Hill, a big time shooter. He proved himself in the playoffs, which is where I like to see people. Once you find a guy making shots in the playoffs, man, you can't. It's hard to lose that guy, man. You gotta pay him, and I think he was ready, man. He was hitting everything he threw up. Um, Reminded me of Patrick Patterson a couple of years ago. I think he's ready for the big moment. I think that's a player that they could have still used. But yet, I still do believe that they have enough. We'll see how much Paul George has elevated his game. I thought last year, man, was an excellent year coming off of that setback of the broken leg. I thought he showed us that he can make it through a season. I thought he had got his confidence back in his leg and his ability to play. I think now, man, I mean, he's been coming for LeBron for a long time. This is nothing new. But I think the maturity level of him, the players that he has around him, I think he has a lot of guys around him ready to win right now. I think, man, that could be enough to get him over the hump. I know Cleveland is a team to look up at, but man, I think they can get it done. Um, the Knicks, man, how far can the Knicks go? Man, with the pickup of Brandon Jennings, one of my most impressed pickups this season, I think him coming off of the bench, backing up Derrick Rose. I think that change up with him being able to also finish around the rim, but being able to stretch the floor and provide them that shooting, a nice scoring spark. I mean, he righteous can start anywhere. And so having him coming off the bench, man, and going up against that second unit, I think is going to do tremendous for the Knicks. The great two-way player in Courtney Lee. I think I like the way he's going to be able to stretch the floor around the Derrick Rose and the Carmelo Anthony. Even the Porzingis, the attention that they're going to grasp. Also being able to defend and hold him and Noah, hold everybody accountable on defense. I think that's a big plus. I look really to see Justin Holiday, man, make a lot of shots this year. I look for him to have a great season, actually. Um, I thought he showed us that he was a NBA ready player last year. He was ready to hit his shots. I think this year he'll only improve. We'll see what he's able to do defensively, which will determine how much he's out there on the floor. But when it comes down to shooting, I think he's ready. I mean, I think we've seen enough. Um, like I said, man, I'm real impressed. I think Porzingis' game goes to the next level. The only team really I can see besides, of course, Cleveland beating this team is the Indiana Pacers. I think a loss to any other team in the East for the Knicks would be would be a failure. They should be upset about it. So, like I said, I mean, you may think that's high standards, but I believe with the squad that the Knicks have this year, man, that this is enough, man, to compete in the Eastern Conference Championship. My three teams in the East are the Indiana Pacers, the New York Knicks, and of course the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think the Knicks and the Indiana Pacers have actually legitimate chances of pulling off the upset this year. So I really do look forward to seeing the East. Um, some of my sleeper teams, man, this year. A lot of teams. Um, well, it's a few teams that I believe that maybe all of them might not make the playoffs, but I think we'll get a lot more than expected out of them. Um, First, I want to start off with the Lakers. Um, and to be honest, man, the additions of Luau Dang, man, and Timothy Mozgov might just be enough to propel them over in order to make the playoffs in the West. Honestly, it's only about five teams that we know for sure make it. I think there's an open spot for the Lakers. Um, I think, like I said, man, the veteran leadership of Luau Dang, bringing it on defense, showing them how to bring it every night. Um, the hot shooting of Lou Williams coming off of the bench. Swaggy P is back. I think the return of Swaggy P is going to only. I mean, I think we're going to see some big nights out of Swag this year. I think he fell in a doghouse last year, and then there wasn't really minutes there anyway with Jordan Clarkson and Kobe. But this year, man, I look to see. I think they're going to have to keep him out there on the floor. You need shooting in this day and age, and Nick Young has it. So, real impressed with what I seen out of the Lakers this preseason. Like I said, man, I know it's preseason, but you're looking for intangibles, things that'll carry over into the regular season. I think the confidence that D'Angelo Russell has found in his game, I think that'll carry over. We'll see. I would like to see a lot more out of Brandon Ingram. I'd like to see a more aggressive Brandon Ingram. To be the number 2 pick, he to me a little bit too much. He's seen the last preseason game, I was really impressed. But before then, man, even like during the summer league, he just seems to be another player out there. I think he's too good I mean, to not be noticed. So I look for him to try to make an impact, really with it on defense with his length more so than his body. I understand he's undersized, but on offense, man, I want to see him a lot more aggressive, man. They're looking for a shot. I think he's one of the few guys on the team that can get a shot over anybody. Very high arc and release, unblockable shot. I think he just needs to shoot it with confidence. Jordan Clarkson, man, a stud, man. I think he's going to have an excellent season. Probably end up leading them in scoring. Probably be their most consistent scorer every night. Next to Luau Dang, of course, and his consistency. I mean, the ultimate professional. I think as long as they use Mozgov, I think they're one of the teams that they are a bad matchup for for the Golden State Warriors. I think with the game that Julius Randle has and the way that he's able to bring it, I look for him to of course gradually over time he'll become a more consistent shooter. I've seen how hard he works. He has the work ethic. I see that coming. What I would like to see is a little bit better playmaking and decision making out in the open court. When he has the ball, I think he's one of the biggest threats, man, with the ball in his hand, running full speed. Hard to stop. He has a lot of speed to him. and a good sized body. So like I said, man, I look to see an aggressive year out of him. I think he has to bring it though defensively. He gotta take it to the next level defensively, much like we seen Draymond Green do. And I think he elevates this team, man, to definitely making the playoffs this year. The Minnesota Timberwolves. I think with the addition of Coach Thibodeau, Tom Thibodeau, I think Tom Thibodeau, man, is going to get this team over the top. I don't think he's having it. The defensive lapses. I think he's gonna. I think, man, we're gonna see the best form of Zach LaVine, the best form of Andrew Wiggins, and an even better Karl Anthony Towns than we've ever seen. I look for a lot out of Courtney James, one of my favorite players on that team. Power forward or center. One of the guys, man. What I really liked about him, man. I think the time that he spent with Kevin Garnett, man. I think he stole all of his moves, man. I watched it, man, all last year, man. Use every last one of them. The little shimmy, fade away back to the basket. I mean, he got the 17-footer. Nice low post game. He can finish around the rim. Excellent rebounder, consistent. Nice size. I like Courtney James. I think he's an excellent complement to a Karl Anthony Towns, especially since he can stretch the floor. I think that allows Courtney James to operate a little bit closer to the rim than what he usually would be able to. I think Chris Dunn, man. I think as long as he focuses defensively and plays with confidence offensively, I think he'll have an excellent season. Probably should end up being the starter. We'll see how his confidence goes as the year goes on and how he develops. Man, like I said, man, I look to see big things out of Zach LaVine. What I seen out of him this preseason, man, he wasn't doing any settling. He was knocking down his shots, getting to his spots. I think that's one of the things that has changed. I think he's found his spots on the floor, and he's getting to those spots and he's elevating. I also believe that like I said, man, he's not settling, man. He's getting to the rim, using his athleticism to finish around the rim or get to the free throw line. I think he's an excellent shooter, but I think he settles too much. I think he lets the defense off the hook. I like to see him putting a lot more pressure on the defense this year than what he did last year and previous years. Solidifying that two guard. Man, I like the way that team looks, man. They look like one of the best teams that they can be one of the best teams ever drafted. For real. You got a Kobe and or a Jordan and a Pippen type, and then you got your man down low, Karl Anthony Towns, who's just on another level. I don't even know who to compare him to, if there's been anything like it. So I expect to see big things out of Minnesota. Utah is a team I also expect to take the next step this year. Boris Diaw, George Hill. I think those are two excellent pickups. I think George Hill keeping the team confident in that point guard position. I think he's not your traditional point guard, so I think he's perfect for the system. In a system where the ball will usually be in Rodney Hood or Gordon Hayward's hands anyway. I think he complements them well. Been able to knock down that corner three consistently, also that wing three. I think the pass on the Boris Diaw, man, elevates Rudy Gobert to a next level. Man, he may make the All-Star this year, man, as good as he is, if he can stay healthy. I think that high-low pass between Boris Diaw to Gobert, and even also Derek Favors, man. I think Boris Diaw is going to elevate both of their games a lot, man. I think his passing ability is going to help them out a lot. Also, the knowledge that he has as being a champion with the Spurs, I think he brings that with him, that championship mentality. I think that only elevates the locker room. I see them being one of the higher seeds out of my sleepers. I'm expecting big things out of them this year, especially with the addition of ISO Joe Johnson probably be coming off of the bench, man, providing consistent scoring, veteran leadership, another voice in the locker room. I like the way Trey Lyles, man, has put his game together, being in the gym working hard, then picked up the 3-point shot, man, real nice stretch for. I think, man, that I thought that was all they needed last year was a stretch for, and I think the more consistent he can play, man, and rebounding defensively also, I think man, the sky's the limit for the Utah Jazz, man. They can be similar to the Spurs, man. The new model of consistency. Um, Speaking of the Spurs, like I said, don't forget about the Spurs. Um, with everything being said, the San Antonio Spurs are probably still in the best position they've ever been in, even with the loss of a Tim Duncan. I think, I mean, you can't replace Tim Duncan, but being able to bring in a Paul Gasol, I think that is excellent, excellent. I think he complements Aldridge perfectly, along with Kawhi Leonard. I think he takes a lot of pressure off of both of them. Another person you can give the ball to and you can trust. I think we'll see a lot of big to big passing from the Spurs as we used to see. High low passes and stuff like that. I was impressed with the signing of David Lee, sleeper signing. I don't think anybody really paid much attention to that, but him coming off of the bench is part of that trio. I think that gives him excellent rebounding, pretty good defense, and of course his passing game is excellent. I've been impressed with rookie Brian Forbes. The shooting of rookie Brian Forbes has been, I mean, lights out. I would really like to see DeJounte Murray take over as that point guard though, with his size and athleticism. I think he can cause more problems for the point guards of the day. He scared me when they drafted him because I mean, like I said, I'm an OKC Thunder fan and I'll be looking. Him and Chris Dunn, man, are two scary point guards for me, man. They are 2 point guards. I think they have the size and athleticism to cause a Westbrook problems. Won't be now, but in the immediate future. So I did like the pickup of them. I think focusing defensively, I think DeJounte Murray though can really disrupt, man, these point guards of the West in the next few years for the Spurs. Like I said, man, shooting at Brian Forbes. I look for Kyle Anderson, man, to elevate his game to another level. One of the great passers, great feel for the game, especially at his size. 6'9", point guard, real deal. Kind of a lot of his game is kind of like a Sean Livingston. If he can get that mid range shot a little bit more consistent, we'll see how he's developed. But he had a pretty good preseason. And really, that's it, man. Like I said, this is Melanated Sports Media, out the blue. I'll be back at you again. I'll be bringing up the NFL. We'll be getting into the Cowboys. Are they legitimate title contenders, or are they the best team in the NFL? How long will Bradford last? Sam Bradford, and also should there be some type of Romo Dez package deal, some type of trade like that? What is the Chargers' future, and how dangerous are the Raiders? How dangerous are the Raiders? We'll also be getting into some boxing, Triple G, Danny Jacobs, Pacquiao Vargas. Also, Spence's next fight. Who should Errol Spence fight next? And what's Canelo's plans, and who would we like to see Canelo in the ring with? So I'll be getting into a lot of that stuff in my next segment. Check me out. I have links in the description and everything for you guys to check out more videos. This will be something I'll be doing at least 3 times a week. Please subscribe.